Young people today actually have 25% more wealth on average than their parents did at the exact same age. A recent analysis by the St. Louis Federal Reserve proved it. You heard that right. Millennials and older Generation Z are technically richer than Generation X, and baby boomers were back in their prime. So why on earth does everyone under the age of 40 feel like they are constantly one missed paycheck away from total ruin? Hey friends, X Money Lab here. Today, we are cracking open the ultimate financial illusion of our generation. If the bank accounts are supposedly bigger, why does the American dream feel like it is completely out of reach for so many? We are going to look at the hidden traps eating away at those numbers, and the truth might just make you want to call your parents. Let us dive in. 1. The generational wealth paradox. Picture this scenario for a moment. You open your mobile banking app, look at your current balance, and someone taps you on the shoulder to tell you that you are statistically wealthier right now than your parents were in their absolute prime. You would probably laugh right in their face, aggressively check the app for a glitch, or ask them what kind of alternate reality they are currently living in. But the financial numbers are dead serious, and they paint a completely unexpected picture. According to a massive data dive published by Newsweek, Millennials aged 26 to 41 had a median net worth of exactly $84,941 in the year 2022. Now, let us rewind the economic clock to the year 1989. Think big hair, neon windbreakers, and baby boomers sitting at that exact same age. When you adjust everything for inflation, meaning we make a historical dollar equal a modern dollar, those boomers only had a median net worth of $58,101. Let those numbers sink in for a second. Over $84,000 for the younger generation versus just over $58,000 for their parents. The kids are up by nearly $27,000 in raw, inflation-adjusted wealth. It sounds completely backwards, does it not? It completely shatters the popular stereotype. We have all been fed this constant, repetitive narrative that young adults today are the most financially doomed generation in modern history. We are portrayed as the avocado toast eaters who simply cannot save a single dime. Yet, the hard economic data slaps that entire theory right out of the window. And the good news does not just stop at net worth. Let us talk about raw income. If you look at the starting salaries, young professionals today are actually pulling in more money on average than the older generations did at their age, even after factoring in the silent thief known as inflation. Modern workers are taking on high-paying tech jobs, building lucrative gig economy side hustles, and climbing specialized corporate ladders that simply did not even exist 40 years ago. The actual volume of cash flowing into the checking accounts every single month is technically higher. So, we have significantly more wealth on paper, and we are making objectively bigger salaries. Why does an $84,000 net worth feel exactly like being totally, hopelessly, and utterly broke? This is where the great generational wealth illusion begins. And it is entirely based on where that money is physically located. You have to look at where the modern wealth is actually hiding. For our parents and grandparents, retirement was mostly handled directly by their employers. They relied on something called a pension. A pension was basically a rock-solid promise from an employer. You work for a specific company for 30 or 40 years, and they guarantee to pay you a steady, reliable salary until the very day you die. It was essentially automatic financial peace of mind. Because it was a future promise, it did not show up as a giant lump sum of cash on their personal balance sheets when they were 30 years old. Their present-day net worth looked incredibly small on paper, but their long-term future was incredibly secure. Fast forward to today, and corporate pensions are basically extinct. They were replaced by personal investment accounts like the 401k. Young people today have been terrified into aggressively saving for their own retirement since the day they received their very first paycheck. Every single month, they automatically siphon a heavy chunk of their salary into index funds and stock portfolios. Over 5, 10, or 15 years of compounding, that retirement account naturally grows into a pretty massive number. That is exactly what makes their net worth look so huge on these economic reports. But here is the brutal, unavoidable catch. You absolutely cannot touch that money. It is locked behind massive penalty fees and heavy taxes until you are nearly 60 years old. It is essentially ghost wealth, haunting your spreadsheet but entirely useless for your daily life. You might have $60,000 sitting pretty in a retirement account, making you statistically rich, but you cannot use a single penny of it to pay for your skyrocketing rent, fix a blown car transmission, or cover a sudden, terrifying medical emergency. So when economists pat young people on the back and cheerfully say, "Congratulations, you are technically wealthier than your parents," it feels like a cruel joke. Young people today are forced to act as their own hedge fund managers, hoarding cash behind unbreakable glass while their day-to-day checking accounts are constantly gasping for air. They are entirely cash poor, but technically wealthy. And the actual, physical money they do manage to keep in their pockets? Well, it is being dragged into an economic battlefield that their parents never had to fight in. Because while the salaries went up, the cost of the basic American dream absolutely exploded. Let us look at what happens when that supposedly bigger paycheck meets modern reality. 2. The housing and education crisis. So, you have a supposedly bigger paycheck, but the basic American dream has completely exploded in price. Let us start with the biggest financial boss fight of them all, which is buying a house. Back in the day, a standard home cost about 2 to 3 times the average yearly salary. It was a very reasonable goal. Today, that same median house will cost you roughly 5.3 times the median income. The math is simply stacked against you. Because of this massive housing squeeze, the timeline for settling down has entirely shifted. In 1981, the median age of a first-time homebuyer was 29 years old. People were getting keys to their own front doors before even hitting 30. Today, that median age has skyrocketed to 40 years old. You are essentially renting for an extra decade, burning cash that previous generations used to build solid equity. And before you can even think about buying that house, you have to survive the education gauntlet. The classic advice was always to get a degree and secure a good job. But the entry fee for that path is now astronomical. Average annual public college tuition has surged over 200%. We are talking about an inflation-adjusted jump from $3,270 in 1974 to an absolutely massive $9,872 today. That is just for public school tuition, not even including rent, food, or textbooks. Young adults are entering the workforce, carrying the financial weight of a small mortgage, just to get the exact same entry-level jobs their parents landed with absolutely zero debt. Your paycheck might technically be larger, but it is instantly devoured by an everyday cost of living that has mutated entirely beyond recognition. 3. The hidden tax of modern life. But let us put the massive purchases aside for a second and look at the everyday, unavoidable bleed of cash. I like to call this the hidden tax of modern life. 50 years ago, the baseline requirements to just exist in society were incredibly cheap. You needed a roof, some groceries, a landline telephone, and maybe a reliable car. That was pretty much it. Today, the barrier to entry just to participate in the modern economy has completely skyrocketed. You absolutely cannot function without a high-speed internet connection, a capable smartphone, and a personal computer. Try walking into a corporate office right now and handing them a physical, paper resume. You will be politely escorted out of the building by security. These are not luxury items anymore. They are mandatory utilities. And the bills never, ever stop. Previous generations bought things once and actually owned them. Now, we are trapped in a relentless subscription economy. You do not just buy software, you pay a monthly fee for cloud storage, digital tools, and the basic apps required to do your actual job. Then there is the quiet, absolutely brutal reality of keeping yourself physically alive. Over the past 5 decades, inflation-adjusted healthcare spending increased from $972 to an absolutely staggering $1,632 per person. That is nearly double the financial weight for the exact same medical peace of mind. So, when older generations tell young people to just cut back on their daily coffee to save money, it completely misses the point. The modern worker is bleeding hundreds of dollars every single month just to maintain the digital and physical baseline required to stay employed. You are effectively paying a massive, invisible toll just to stand on the starting line. 4. Are we actually poorer today? We are supposedly the richest young generation in modern history, yet we feel like we are constantly treading water with anvils tied to our feet. Why? Because the very definition of wealth has completely changed. It is no longer measured by the freedom to live comfortably. It is measured by your bare ability to survive the modern economy. Let us look at the raw, undeniable numbers from Newsweek. In 2022, millennials aged 26 to 41 held a median net worth of $84,941. Now, let us jump in a time machine back to 1989. Baby boomers at that exact same age had a median net worth of just $58,101. And yes, that is already adjusted for inflation. So, statistically, no, you are absolutely not poorer. You are mathematically crushing your parents. But practically, yes, you are entirely justified in feeling completely, desperately broke. That is the grand illusion. Your parents had a significantly smaller net worth, but a massive amount of real-world purchasing power. They could afford to make mistakes. They could buy a modest starter home, raise a couple of kids, and take a yearly family vacation on a single, completely average salary. They had breathing room. Today, young adults are hoarding larger piles of cash, but they have absolutely zero margin for error. A recent Redfin study showed that by 2025, 27.1% of Generation Z nationwide actually owned their own homes. That proves young people are still buying property and working incredibly hard, but they are still tracking behind the pace of previous generations. They are sprinting on a treadmill, scraping together giant sums of money, only to watch the fundamental finish lines of adulthood sprint even further away. The modern economy demands that you have a near flawless financial run just to achieve the basic stability your parents took for granted. One severe medical bill, one extended layoff, or one unexpected family emergency, and that supposed generational wealth can vanish in an instant. So, to answer the ultimate question, are young people actually poorer today? On a spreadsheet, you are a financial champion. In everyday reality, you are playing the hardest economic video game ever created, permanently locked on the highest difficulty setting. Your money just does not buy the same peace of mind anymore. It only buys you a ticket to keep fighting. If this video helped you feel a little less crazy about your bank account, hit that like button, subscribe to X Money Lab, and keep surviving out there. I will see you next time.